All right, so President Trump invited the South African president to come to the White House. I don't know if this was to prove that there is a genocide happening with the white South Africans or to justify why he's doing what he's doing with them. But the video that he showed was actually of, I think his name is Julius Malema. He's not the South African president that was singing that chant of kill the farmers or whatever. Now, am I saying that they're right for killing white South Africans? No. Is it a genocide happening? No. Are they killing them? Yeah. But I want to point something out, and this is the audacity that I think a lot of Europeans or European Americans or from wherever they're from, Europeans are missing. So we have to go back to why. So the real deal is that the black South Africans are murdering some of the families and people that own the land there because it's stolen and they won't leave. They have been told time and time again, this is our land. Your fathers and grandfathers stole this land from its rightful owners, killed their entire families, and you took over, and now it's time for you to go. And they won't go. In addition to that, the poverty that is in Africa, in South Africa, has driven a lot of the black South Africans to these points of not only killing them because of the fact that the land is stolen, but also taking whatever possessions are in their house and whatnot, and their cattle and whatever else they got going on. Black South Africans are the rightful owners to everything in South Africa. The Europeans came in, completely destabilized during apartheid, treated these people like slaves, like Jim Crow. I mean, it's terrible, and they're still doing it, by the way. And expect them to just not eventually be like, yeah, we're not doing this no more. Am I missing something? Again, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I understand. I get it. So not only will they not leave, they won't give back the stolen land, and they're treating the original people like crap. Apartheid ended many years ago. Don't you think that maybe the land that was obtained during apartheid should be given back to its rightful owners? Now, even if it's not the rightful owners, because like I said, during that time, they were murdering the whole family of the rightful owners of that land and then taking it over. So even if it's not the original family, they need to give it back to the country of South Africa. They need to give it back. Don't this sound crazy to you? Remember when OJ, somebody that he knew stole his stuff, and he knew who stole it, so he went and got his stuff back, and then they arrested OJ Simpson for stealing his stuff back? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Ain't that crazy? But these are the laws that, not our laws, but that these people have created. And it's a whole system, and it all around the world. It's all connected. The mindset is the same all around the world. Kind of like, what's the movie we just saw with the vampires? Sinners. It's exactly like Sinners, where it's like a network, a system. They all connect. But, okay. Sure.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching my videos from. Welcome back to my YouTube space. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. Now, South African President Ramaphosa went to the United States of America. I don't know what he went to do there. I don't know the kind of negotiation. After Donald Trump put sanctions on South Africa, I think South Africa was going south. And Ramaphosa cannot depend on himself. The country of South Africa is a very good country, and it's capable of depending on itself. Now, the video I'm going to do is about black Americans reacting to how Trump how the White House handled Ramaphosa. It was indeed so bad. It was more than bullying, okay? And Ramaphosa didn't know how to protect himself. He just kept quiet, and that's why a lot of black Americans are saying, why let's put Julius Malema there, Julius Malema, if he could be there, how he could handle Donald Trump or Ibrahim Traore. So I think Julius Malema is more vocal than Ramaphosa, and that's why Ramaphosa got it hard to defend himself. Now, before we go down deep into this video, I want us to watch these clips of black Americans reacting on how Trump handled or bullied Ramaphosa, and then we come back here, we talk about it.
I just got finished watching the South African president and the president of the United States sit in the Oval Office and talk things through, okay? Now, the real meeting, okay, so they had two different reasons for the meeting, okay? Trump wanted to talk about the stuff that's happening, that he believes is happening to the Afrikaners in South Africa, okay? And the South African president, he wanted to talk about building relations as far as business and technology, and to help provide more jobs to South Africa and things of that nature, because he believes that's the root of the problem. That's what South Africa was coming to talk about, and they're coming to talk about relations. But as the meeting went on, Trump pulled out these big, thick printouts from all over the web. You could tell it was the web, okay? So anybody can write whatever, right? But it was the web, and about farm attacks on Afrikaners in South Africa, right? Which is why they're fleeing. He said, this is what the meeting is about. So Trump had a whole other thing in mind, right? And so then there was this big screen, like this widescreen TV in there, and they showed two groups. But I'm more familiar with Malema, right? And how what they were saying on the microphone and against the Afrikaners. But yeah, they were showcasing stuff that was backing up Trump's claim that Afrikaners were a target in South Africa, okay? And he asked the South African president, he said, why haven't you arrested Malema for saying the things that he says? This was the clapback. This was clapback moment number one, okay? But the South African president didn't come prepared, okay, to clap back, okay? Because he would have clapped back. Because all he could have said was, the same way you don't arrest the Triple K in your nation. It's called freedom of speech. We got freedom of speech over there too. The same way you pardoned everyone on January 6th. We ain't gonna talk about that, are we? Even though they had the whole guillotine out there for somebody that ran with you, called Pence, the vice president. We ain't gonna talk about that. You see, that's the clapback. So as the meeting went on and everything, right? It was more the South African president trying to keep a lid on things. Because I think in the back of his mind, he knew that it could erupt if he said the wrong thing. So I think he came prepared to say what he wanted to say without it erupting. But he had other people speak, and the majority of people who spoke in there on the South African side were Afrikaners or a white South African man. Okay. Okay, so, and here's point number two, okay? When he was like, we have to get this fixed. Why aren't you fixing this? Why aren't you fixing this? Blah, blah, blah. This is what the administration was saying. And my thing is this. Why didn't, there was a lot of ways you could come at this. And I'm assuming the South African president just didn't want to, tell the complete and whole truth. Because all he had to do was say, why haven't I gotten a handle on my issue? Is because the same reason why you hadn't gotten a handle on your issue. In these schools with them pew-pews. Same reason why you hadn't gotten a handle on it. Matter of fact, do you need our help? Because, while you helping us, we can help you. get all these pew-pews off the street too. Here's the one thing that really got me. When one of those guys, one of the Afrikaners were talking, they were like, T. wrongs. Well, I know I grew up under apartheid, and but two wrongs don't make a right. And that's the thing I don't like. It's because y'all act like y'all don't have to repair nothing. You do. You do. Because the land that you actually want, most of it was stolen. So give it back. And all of the land has not been given back. That's fact one. And that's all they had to say. That's all the president had to say. But excuse me, most of that land was stolen, Mr. President. So if someone steals something from you, if we're going to give it back, we got to give it back. Correct? So that's what we're doing. And some people don't want to get up off it. So that's what's going on. That's how you're supposed to talk. That's how you're supposed to talk over here. Ain't no no, because they're not about to laugh with you. So bottom line, how do I think the meeting went? I think the meeting was garbage. Really, nothing was really done. I think the meeting was just for show. Yeah, I think it was garbage and nothing really got handled, because the first thing that should have been said, I believe, from the South African president's mouth is what the majority of South African people are saying, white and black, is that it's a lie. There is no G word going on in South Africa. Okay. And number two, just like in your country, we have the freedom to say what we want to say. And if Malema says what he says or whatever like that, it's just like it's the equivalent of what someone else may say in your following over here in the United States of America that you might, some other people might take offense to. Okay. And as far as all those newspaper clippings and stuff like that, I'd have been like, okay, well, let me show you. I'd have pointed to my homeboy on the couch that wasn't doing nothing. Start looking up all the clips real quick of all the black South Africans, okay, that have gotten taken out, okay, by the hands of, okay, that's what I would have been like. Because what you're not going to do is hand me no internet files. Put them in my freaking hand like I'm supposed to read them. Them suckers would have been landed clean on the floor. But that's why I would have got loads of ratings. If I went to the... You want a showdown, baby. We about to have a showdown for show enough. But, yeah, nothing happened. That happened. It's going to be the same old. But I do believe that based on this meeting, they are going to plan something for South Africa. And it's going to be for the good of those who once ruled in apartheid. If they don't watch it.
Trump is getting a lot of hate right now, but on behalf of my South African brothers and sisters, and on behalf of the continent of Mother Africa, I would like to thank President Donald Trump for his generosity and his foresight in resettling white South Africans in the United States of America because of the abominable way they've been treated. Let's get into it. South Africa is confiscating land and treating certain classes of people, aka white, very badly. It's a bad situation, a massive human rights violation. No. Who is going to tell this raging, thieving racist Donald Trump how white South Africans got this land in the first place? Who is going to tell him how, in a land that's 90% black, that white South Africans own 70% of the land? That's 70, you heard me right. Or that white South Africans still hold on to the economic power that they controlled during apartheid. And that includes through their ownership of land, mineral resources, and in many other ways. Or the fact that white South Africans still today benefit from a privilege and economic power over and above black South Africans because of that systemic and structural racism. And how did they get that? By committing genocide of black South Africans, by killing black South Africans for black South African land, by raping black South Africans, pillaging, stealing, denying them justice and denying them equality to the present day. These are the people that Donald Trump is calling victims. And the human rights violations happens against black South Africans, not white South Africans. These white South African farmers even have the temerity to ask for compensation. People, let me understand this. So, you steal land from me, I take my land back, and you have the caucasity to demand for, complain about compensation. Ha! Jesus. Hey, listen. You should be happy that all South Africans are doing is taking the land back. That they are not demanding that you pay for the loss of generational wealth. That they are not demanding that you pay interest for all of the wealth that you have earned, you and your ilk, from sitting on their land. You should be happy, but you feel you're all that. The utter caucasity. I would strongly encourage these white South African farmers to pack up their bags, get the hell out of South Africa, because nobody asked you here, no one invited you here, and nobody dragged you and your forebears to South Africa in chains. So please, go. No one's going to miss you. Go become refugees in the United States of America, a land that belongs to Native Indigenous Americans and a country that was built on the blood, life, sweat, and liberty of black Americans. Go on, that's your modus operandi, to go where you don't belong and take what doesn't belong to you. Shop, move. Shop, move. And go from being a refugee to a naturalized American citizen like your fellow white South African Elon Musk, the real president of the United States of America. What are you waiting for? Trump has made room for you. He has spent the first few weeks of his presidency deporting thousands of migrants, many of whom have worked, lived, and paid taxes in the United States and committed no crime. But they didn't have the complexion for the protection. And the only basis for giving the white South Africans refugee status, but not these other migrants, is because the South Africans are white. Oops.
I would say you, Donald Trump, you are even worse because your forebears came to America.
That's right.
They found the indigenous Americans. They wiped them out. They killed nearly all of them.
Right.
Rene, we are living as a nation, and black and white, we are going to find solutions for our land question. So Donald Trump must leave us alone. Donald Trump must leave us alone. He must leave us alone, Kauri. When we were facing apartheid, when we were facing oppression,
Speak on it.
he was not here.
He wasn't.
He did not fight side by side with us.
No, he didn't.
And we were able, on our own, yes, with support of progressive forces in the world, to resolve the apartheid question. As far as I recall, Donald Trump was not around the negotiating table when we negotiated the end of apartheid.
I was talking to some Trump supporters today, and they was telling me how mad they are that Africans are killing white Africans, and they should be ashamed of themselves. And this is why I told them, where were you motherfuckers 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when white Africans were slaughtering black Africans, killing millions, putting them in jail, just like they did Mandela? Where were you motherfuckers then? Y'all don't want to talk about that. Now all of a sudden, people in the United States of America are experts on genocide. What kind of bullshit that is. And they got the nerve to think that they're smart. And they sound stupid. And that's why I told them, where were y'all 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 10 years ago? And now y'all mad because people want their land back? People want the land that people came over and took from them, making millions of dollars off of their land, and they want their land back, and now you motherfuckers mad? If this is not racism, I don't know what racism is. And for you black people that voted for Trump, y'all have your opinion. Y'all must be the weakest minded person I've ever seen in my life. People, you mean to tell me that this man rejects all brown people from Puerto Rico, Haiti, you name countries that black and brown, but he welcomed white people with open arms. And the sad part is that he's not ashamed. This man's showing y'all who he is, and you motherfuckers not even ashamed of it. Now all of a sudden, white Americans are expert about Africa. I told him, you don't go sit your motherfucking ass down in the corner and shut the fuck up. Y'all letting this fool lead y'all to. It's the dumbest. It's the dumbest thing I've seen in my life. That white Americans are not expert on.
Welcome back. It's very bad. It was a very bad scene. I talked about this when I created a video of white Americans reacting to this, but I think black Americans, most of them are not happy with this. And one thing that I'm happy about it is that recently black Americans they were doing this culture of it's called the Zulu culture, and there was a battle between South African black Americans. There was a heated conversation between black Americans and South Africans, but right now I see them, black Americans, supporting South Africa. I see they are not happy of how Trump handled black Ramaphosa. And one thing is that we as African leaders, we need to learn a lot from this, because we need to stand up and know that we should stop begging from this colonizer. We should stop begging from the systems. Our countries are capable of standing by ourselves. For example, when I talk about our countries are capable, look at South Africa. South Africa is the powerhouse of Africa. South Africa is the powerhouse of the world. You know, they have gold, they have everything that needed to be there. But what is happening, how Ramaphosa was handled, it is being seen that the whole of Africa is being belittled. The whole of Africa has been stepped down, you know, and this is bad. And that's why they always put their leaders whom they can control, their puppets whom they can control, because they don't want a leader like Julius Malema to be in power. They don't want a leader like Ibrahim Traore to be in power. They don't want a leader who can stand and question them. They want a leader whom they can control. They want a leader who they can control as a puppet. You just move him here, you keep him there. You remove him there, you keep him there. So, and that's why they put Ramaphosa there. So, I will say this. I'm gonna say this. Black Americans, and that's why I need you here in Africa. That's why I need most of you to come in Africa. Because, number one, you know this type of game. Number two, you can stop this game. Number three, you are capable of telling them on their face that there is no your place here. You get that? So, as long as they get someone who can stand against them, they don't love him. And that's why they have created each and every sector to make sure that black Americans are never accepted elsewhere. They are creating stereotypes against black Americans. They are, you know, they are putting some laws to make sure black Americans, their strength is being squeezed. But black Americans are standing strong. So when we are saying we need Africans or we need black Americans to come back to Africa, it is because of some things like this. Imagine the unity between black Americans and Africa. Imagine how they can't do anything against us. Imagine how this can be done. It is super because black Americans have get each and every way to close their way inside. Black Americans, they know how to stop them. Black Americans knows each and everything to do. So I have to say this. It is for sure that Africans, there's a way the white people, they carry us, or the Western powers, there's a way they carry us. They don't respect us. They are seeing us as their kids. They are seeing us as inferior. They are seeing us as the dark continent. And the only people who can stop them is the black Americans or the African in diaspora, because they know their game. They know their ways. Okay? But when we told Ramaphosa, please join hands with Ibrahim Traore, look for new friends, the friends who can't bully you, the friends who respect your decisions, the friends who respect you. We were talking about something like this. This is what we were talking about. Because you cannot be a whole president of a state in Africa, a biggest country that pumps Africa and pumps the world, and yet you are humiliated in front of the world like a kid. See, they talk to their allies very well. When they have a meeting with Macron, they are respectful. When they have a meeting with these other leaders, respectfully. But what else? What comes when they have a meeting with Zelensky, a meeting with Ramaphosa? It is absurd. We cannot continue to live like this as Africa. And that's why I stand here and tell African leaders, watch out. Watch out, because they do not want you to succeed. They put you there and they will use you and they will control you and they will make you look like a mad person. They will make you look like an, So Trump was telling Ramaphosa to come and arrest Julius Malema, of which that is interfering with our sovereignty as Africans or as South Africa. It is interfering with the laws and decisions of South Africa. How can you tell a president to arrest someone that you know very well he have not done any mistake? And that's why they did not allow Julius Malema to go in power. That's the reason. So I will say this, that black Americans are here and we need you to come back to Africa. Not coming back that for real, but we need the unity. When we talk together, when you raise your voice and us, we raise our voice, they fear us because they know very well that we or you black Americans are not playing the games they are playing. But Africans, it is time. The African countries, it is time to see what is happening to our brother can happen to you. You are here in Africa, a big man, a president of South Africa, a president of Kenya. But when you go to a country like South Korea or a country like US, you bow down. Why are you bowing down and everyone has his own or her own country? Why are you bowing down and your country is so rich than them? Why are you bowing down and yet you are the one who is pumping their economy? Why? So, I will say this. Africa needs to wake up, and we cannot avoid it but to follow the steps of Ibrahim Traore. We cannot avoid it but to follow the steps of Ibrahim Traore. That's all we are supposed to do. Ibrahim Traore, the leaders of Africa, even if you go down, you go up, you come down, you need to follow the steps. Otherwise, you will be humiliated. For real. You will be humiliated to the ground. That's for sure. Because there was no respect there. There wasn't any respect there. And all is because we are begging to them. All is because we are begging to them. They are seeing us as beggars. I believe we can do better than this as African leaders. I believe we can do better than this. And just to open my youth's eyes, seeing what our grandparents are being done here, see what our grandparents see, what is happening to them. It is so sad. So we need to step out, just like Traore did, and say no to this, what's happening, and this disrespect and everything. Okay? So tell me what you think on the comment section about this video. I think I will see you in a few. Until next episode, peace out.